Today we're going to be talking about those pesky little wax moths in bee frames on your honeycombs in your beehives. So stay tuned. Welcome back to Pine Meadows Hobby Farm. I'm your host Jerry Hansen, and this is my buddy Ken Milstein. We're going to be working in the apiary today. In today's episode we're going to be looking into wax moths and the destructive behavior of wax moths. Ken, why don't you tell us what are wax moths and what kind of destruction are we expecting from them?
Well, wax moths get into the hive. If you have a really strong hive, the bees will keep them out. But if you get a weak hive like we have here this summer or this season, the wax moths get in and destroy everything. And we'll pull out the first frame and you can see how well they destroy this frame. So right here we have our base comb here. This is really nice and pristine at this point, and everything else you see here has been destroyed by wax moths. You can see a little pigtail right here. This is actually their webbing. That's kind of the evidence that they've been there. So there's their webbing and all their feces and everything else all hooked up, and then gone in and eaten all this wax out. So I flipped this frame over. We're looking at the backside now, as you can see right here. That's all. So this is all the wax moth silk that they leave as they climb through and eat up all of your wonderful pristine wax and honeycomb. So this, again, all this side has been destroyed by wax moths. So alright, we'll put this frame back in and pull the second frame out. And again, you can see the damage on this frame. This one isn't as bad, but you can see if you look at the close end, you can see their silk as they lay it and their feces, and you can see the trail as it walks down through here, and right in there is where the larva ended up. So this is actually kind of nice on this side. You can actually see it makes a reverse question mark where that moth climbed through there. So if you want to clean this out, what you'll do is you go in and find that little trail that they made and take your hive tool and just scrape that down. And you'll scrape all that silk off.
Now I understand the bees will come in and clean up what you didn't get, because as fastidious as they are, they'll do a lot of cleanup themselves.
Right.
If you have a strong hive.
So as we take this down to the foundation, and this wax that you collect at the bottom, you can actually save that and you can render that down and use that as your candles or whatever you want to do. Alright, so this one's almost cleaned up. We'll clean up a couple more tracks, but Jerry can do this off camera. So we'll put this one in and pull out frame number 3.
Ew.
This is probably the ugliest frame he's got here. Okay. As you can see, I'm kind of in a side view, how well all this comb has been destroyed. And all these little black particles in there, that's all, as Jerry says, moth poop. So again, we'll just take and scrape all that down. Right down to the base, like that. And we'll take this frame and we'll put it in the freezer, and that'll kill any of the eggs or any larvae that we don't find. Is that a hive beetle? Ooh, I don't think they're that big.
Nah, I don't know what hive beetle looks like.
Oh, look, it's still alive. Oh, well.
It's a beetle and it's in the hive. It must be a hive beetle.
I'm not sure. Well, it is a beetle. I'm not sure it's the official beehive beetle. I guess you want to zoom in on this, huh?
Yeah, hold it, freeze.
That big, but we will execute him because he's not supposed to be here.
Now Ken, how do the wax moths get in the hives?
They fly in the front and they hang out and they find, actually they'll start on this frame and this frame, your outside frames, because most of the time your bees will be in the middle. So your outside frames are not patrolled as well by the bees. They'll go in there and they'll start right on this frame. They'll start building their cocoons and they'll just keep working in.
Boy, they're gutsy getting past the sentries that guard the entrance. Man,
they sneak right in.
Okay, what's the so you said that once your hives are infested by wax moths, the best thing to do is go ahead and scrape that damaged wax off down to the foundation, and then put them in a plastic bag and put them in the freezer.
Correct.
How long do you want them in the freezer?
I leave them in there all season.
All season?
All season.
Okay.
Well, all winter season.
And that serves the purpose of killing any unhatched eggs and larvae that might be remaining.
Correct.
Okay. So wax moths are one of the many destructive creatures that can get into a beehive and ruin your hive, as well as the hive beetle.
Correct.
What damage does a hive beetle do?
I think they just go in and eat the stores.
Okay, that makes sense. And then you've got the robbers and stuff. But this episode is mainly dealing with wax moths and what to do about them, and how to remedy your hive from wax moths.
Dropping this frame in, and I'm going to pull out this one. This is actually comb that Jerry and I pulled from one of our extractions, and this one actually looks good. This has no wax moths in it. You don't see any of these silky trails on either side, but what we do see are all these white spots in here. So what has happened is when the bees were active on this comb, they had put their bee bread into all these little capsules. So now the bees are not actually in here, all this bee bread has molded over. So all these white spots are bee bread that's gone moldy.
The moldy bee bread is a problem. What do we do about it?
Okay, so if we really want to clean this up, you could actually scrape it like we did with the wax moths, but the best thing to do is just put it back into an active hive, and the bees will actually clean all those pods out and throw that moldy bread away.
Boy, they're really fastidious little creatures.
So if you don't want to actually scrape this down, you can put it back into an active hive, and the bees will actually go in and clean out all that moldy bread and throw it away. And they'll refill it with new bread or honey or larvae.
Cool.
Yeah.
Boy, they know what they're doing better than we do.
They absolutely do. All right, so I'm going to pull out another frame here, and at the very bottom of this one, that's the actual this is the actual wax moth larva right there.
Cool.
So since it's been a pretty hard winter, it's already been frozen, so it's already dead.
So I don't need to worry about any wax moths because of the freezing temperatures we've had.
Right, so these are all been frozen, they're all dead, all the eggs are dead. So all you want to do is clean them up a little bit so the bees don't have as much work to do. And then of course you can harvest some of that wax to make your fancy cosmetics.
Cool.
Or candles.
Or candles. Cosmetics and candles.
Yep.
Cool.
There you go. So just to summarize, your best way to keep wax moths and beetles and all the other creatures that come into your hive, like the yellow jackets and all those predators that want to destroy your hive, is have a very strong, healthy hive, and they'll keep all those predators out.
A strong, healthy hive is best.
The stronger your hive is, the healthier it is. They'll be able to fight off all the yellow jackets, all the wax moths, all the beetles, and all that other predators that go in.
All right, cool. Good to know.
Yeah, which means, so your strong hive, keep them fed, clean water for them, out of the wind, lots of good warm sunshine.
All right.
Yeah.
And this is not the way you winter beehives.
No.
Since all these hives are dead,
yeah,
they're just setting to get full access to the freezing cold to kill any parasites or wax moths or larvae that might be in there. But in winterizing bee colonies, there are other videos on YouTube on showing people how to winterize. And in a future video, when I have a healthy hive, I'll show you, Ken and I will show you how to winterize a hive.
Yep.
Straight to the camera. Well, hopefully that information was helpful to you novice beekeepers. I know it was for me. Please stay tuned for more videos here at Pine Meadows Hobby Farm, and visit us at our apiaries over at Acorn Acres. I'm your host, Jerry Hansen, and this is my buddy Ken Muhlstein, and we'd like to thank you guys for coming. We'll see you in another video. Bye-bye.